ISD Board of Education meeting is called to order. Thank you everyone for coming bright and early this morning. The first item of business is the approval of the agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Madam President, I move to amend the agenda to add an action item directing district administration to acknowledge formally Black History Month on the district's official social media platforms and website.
Okay. Second. Any discussion, Mr. Monday?
Yeah, it's Black History Month. We have a special meeting, and I thought it would be ideal to do this during the month of February instead of presenting at next month's meeting, which I do presume will be an agenda item. But seeing that we had an opportunity to convene again today, I thought it would be most appropriate to do this during the month of Black History Month.
Question, are there other cultural appreciation items that we would need to consider at the same time?
Well, I was going to say, do we need to approve the agenda item and then add it to the discussion? Discuss that further?
Are you asking if, in order to do this, we need to make those considerations? I guess I didn't understand your
So
question.
basically, Director Baird has pointed that we need to approve adding this to the agenda. And so we need to have a vote to approve this to be able to have further discussion.
The reason why I was asking the question is because that might affect my vote on if I wanted to add it to the agenda or not. So that's why I brought up the question. I thought that you would ask for discussion on the amendment, and so that's why I was doing that.
So would you like to provide any more clarification so that it will affect her vote?
I'm not sure if I need to provide clarity. I'm specifically asking that we do this during the month of February for Black History Month. I'm absolutely not opposed to doing this for any other cultural people groups or celebrations at all. I think this is a good opportunity to make that first step, to make that change. So.
Thank you for that. And the district, any weigh in on the district on that?
There would need to be considerations for other months in support of celebrations. So that is something the district has not done over the course of years. So that would need to be a discussion.
I'm happy to have further discussion. My ask clearly is that we make an action item and decision today to make a statement celebrating or acknowledging, honoring Black History Month this month before the month of March. Again, happy to have further discussion about any other celebrations that we want to consider. I get pause as to why it's this way anyway, but I'm sure that there's a logical explanation behind it. I'd be happy to learn more details about that. I think more importantly, looking at surrounding districts, even our city website and webpage, social media, this is a thing that is happening elsewhere, and we do stick out. And I think this is, again, another opportunity, a great opportunity to demonstrate our care for our community and our acknowledgement to the, I don't know, over 50% people of color student body in this district, and myself as an elected official, the only person of color that is elected in the city's histories.
I certainly don't want to see.
I think this would be a great way for our students to feel better represented and more seen.
I certainly don't want to stand in the way of cultural appreciation. I think that's a great thing that we can do for our district. I just want to make sure that we do it in a way that is inclusive and make sure that we don't, in trying to acknowledge a particular group, disenfranchise any other groups. Would it be appropriate to make an amendment to the amendment, or do we have to vote for that first?
I would think that we would have to vote on this first.
Yeah, so I would think that we would need to be able to say that this is an amendment before we can say that we're making an amendment to that amendment.
Very good. Sometimes I get a little lost in the procedure, so I am ready to vote.
And just to add clarity here, I think two things can happen at the same time. Just like, two things can be true at the same time on different sides of things. And I don't think that this needs to be hanged on whether or not we appreciate or celebrate others. I think right now, as it is Black History Month, and by the way, rest in peace, Jesse Jackson, a great icon for civil rights in our country. This is just a great opportunity right now to focus our energy in celebrating what's present and not excluding at any degree or minimizing any other cultural celebration, but being clear that this is my focus at this time. And I'm absolutely happy to discuss further celebrations and other cultural celebrations for sure. I think just the appropriate manner right now, it's Black History Month, so I'd like to see that posted this month and prioritized this month. So, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor of adding this topic of, can you clarify what that was?
Absolutely. This is
Cammie, can you make sure that you have that as well?
Sure. Okay, well, I have it typed so I can read it for you. All right, I move to amend the agenda to add an action item directing district administration to formally acknowledge Black History Month on the district's official social media platforms and websites effective February 2026.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed say nay.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote just because of the Harry Dixon,
Yes.
Anthony J. Bodie,
Yes.
Denise Spears,
Yes.
Jill Etheridge,
Yes.
Blake Robertson,
Yes.
Randy Parente,
Yes.
Andy Bear.
Yes.
Okay. We now have this on the agenda and we can have some additional discussion. And if you're wanting to make an amendment, you have the opportunity to do that.
So I would like to amend the action item to do a review of cultural appreciation events and make a calendar so that way we are inclusive of all cultural events. I would love to see this happen in February 26th. However, we have to remember that we are not in a vacuum and that there are many things that are going on. So if that could not happen, and this is not a friendly amendment, I should probably stop.
So, can you repeat the
Yeah, the amendment would be to do a review of cultural events and create a district calendar of what we will be recognizing so that we can make sure that it is inclusive.
I would second that.
Okay, now would you like to
Yeah.
continue to?
Just the reason why I would say that is that I would love to see this happen in February because it is Black History Month. I think that would be awesome. But I just want to recognize that those kinds of things sometimes can take time. And so if it didn't happen in February, I still think it's a good thing to do.
I struggle with why this takes time, if I can just be frank. I do not know why this is not being done. I admit that I could be green in that space, and I'm happy to learn why our position has been what it is. I can tell you that being a community member, a student, and initially someone outside of this district coming from Wyandotte County, this community has not had the best record of race relations or community involvement for people of color. And so I think acknowledging that truth and doing this, outside of the scope of how we normally operate by saying Happy Black History Month, I mean, I don't think it takes an act of God to do this and see why it's appropriate. I hope that we can agree to make this happen this month and, clear up whatever things we need to clear up later. I do not believe that this needs to have the act of a calendar committee and all of those things. And I don't mean to imply that that's your implication, but feeling that, it just feels like this is complicated. And I don't think it's complicated. I think this is fairly simple. And I think this is something that we should do and should have done by now.
And I don't think you're up there. I don't feel like my
Not close enough.
heating the mic. I'm joking. I do not, I think for right now, I see value in just, let's do Black History Month, and then we direct administration to continue. I agree with Anthony that I don't believe that this needs an act of God, for lack of better words, but this is something that we can do now, in the month of February, to recognize Black History Month, and then moving forward, just direct administration to ensure that all cultural holidays and events are celebrated and acknowledged.
It does seem like something, like, this feels like weeds to me, like, does the board need to speak into every social media post that's made? And I don't believe it does. I think that the district, my understanding was that the district had made a decision to stay out of any topic that would be something that was a celebration of anything, and just focus on the district in their social media. And so I think that was my understanding of how our social media platform was. Can you clarify that?
That is correct. What I would say is if this is a decision from the board, the district doesn't have an issue with that. I think that Director Fear's comment of we just need to outline our calendars so that we make sure that we're including everyone, because we don't want to do it for one and not the other. So our stance has been over the years, many years, that we focus solely on our district perspective, and not putting on social media those options. But that's not something that we're opposed to in any way, shape, or form.
I apologize if I need to apologize. I don't know if that's necessary, but I did not want to take this meeting and extend it that long. But I have to be honest. This is precisely the pressure and the challenge that people of color are experiencing. I am asking that we say Happy Black History Month. I'm not asking for a long drawn-out post. And now I have to sit and listen to make sure you don't exclude anyone. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, that is not what I meant. That's not what I said. And I do not think that if we say Happy Black History Month, that excludes anyone at all. I don't know, Dr. Brent, with all due respect to your role, I don't know how many people groups are saying acknowledge my culture. I don't know if that's a thing that's happening. If it is, okay, let's talk about it. Let's learn about it. But I don't think that that's what we need to do right now. I, as a director on this board, went through running a campaign and being elected, and I'm Black. And I'm asking that we say, Happy Black History Month, okay? And, if that's what it takes to get things to change, then get on a ballot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is not about my not celebrating Black History Month, because I certainly do in my own world. But I also recognize that celebrating, taking moments to celebrate cultures, that includes a lot of different things. And so in my life, I celebrate women in leadership. In my life, I celebrate women or leaders with disability. And those are things that I am. Like, I'm a president of the Independent School Board, and I have a disability that is very visual. And so I personally feel like I have strong stances in these spaces, and I don't have an expectation that everybody in the ISD celebrates my celebration. And so that is where we have to be conscientious of making precedents for spaces that we want to make sure that we are clear of what all we're going to celebrate. Because honestly, at this point in our lives, there is a celebration almost every day of every month to celebrate the areas and spaces that people want to celebrate. I wish that this didn't have to be something that we are making a decision as a school board whether we're going to put this on, but I believe that the stance of the district was they had a clear stance of just not doing any of it and just focusing on our students, and that is how they were, that that was not meant to be something to hurt anyone. It was meant to celebrate our students and the ISD.
I understand it's not intended to hurt anyone. I think sometimes our intentions are just that, our intentions, and we don't recognize what our intentions, the harm that our intentions actually can cause. And I'll be honest, just listening to you speak just now, I find it to be harmful because I don't have a physical disability that you can see. I have black skin that you can see, and that separates me from some spaces. And so I need us to understand it is not about minimizing anybody else or maximizing me as a black person at all. It is about us taking a stance and acknowledging the over 50% of young black people of color in this district. I think it is just almost embarrassing to have a long drawn-out conversation about simply celebrating black history. And I don't want to go comparing this to that. That is absolutely not what I want to do. I think it is clear that we need people to feel welcome. If we want them to feel welcome, we need to demonstrate that they are welcome. This is a way to do that. We want to say, where are the black people running for elected offices? Where are the applicants? Where are they? Okay, well, we need to demonstrate that, come on, come this way. And I just think that just a small, note on our Facebook or website, Happy Black History Month, and honor a legend or an icon that has done great work in our community or in the world. It doesn't take a whole lot to make this happen, and my hope is that we can get past this and go ahead and make the motion pass and make the post.
Well, and I just want to be clear, Vice President Mondane, I don't believe any one of us, or myself included, thought that you were trying to exclude anyone. But I do think it's something for us to take a look at, and but we don't have an issue with it on that from the district perspective.
Well, and I think it can be a both and. I think we can acknowledge Black History Month because it is important and it shouldn't have to happen to us or apply to us for it to matter to us. And I think we can recognize that. And then, yes, we do it now. We have an opportunity because it hasn't happened. And I know Director Mondane had requested that it be on the March agenda, but that is past Black History Month. So we have an opportunity now to ensure that it happens now. And then in the future, we can ensure that we do our best to recognize all cultures and things within our district. But I think also, too, this is an opportunity for, I know we've requested before to have a presentation on our cultural proficiency plan. And so this is an opportunity to do that during a work session and talk about it because that hasn't happened yet. That would be wonderful.
We have had a
But
cultural
we didn't have
proficiency
but that was
presentation
not
for
in
the
a public.
board.
Yes, not
Yes.
at a public meeting. I've
There you
requested
go.
that it happen at a public meeting.
And we haven't been a year since our last presentation, and so we have.
Well, and I will
acknowledged-
continue to ask for it
And-
until it
but-
happens. But we had decided that it was going to happen this fall publicly, like during a work session, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm just bringing it up again. I hope that it happens soon and in the future. And I look forward to it.
Yes. Okay, so back to the matter at hand. We need to approve. Go ahead, Jill, did you want to speak into it?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring us back to the amendment. I think we're on Director Fear's amendment, and I would just like to add maybe, what is today? The 19th, 18th. So my hope would be that this is a good opportunity to explore all of the possible months and multicultural things we could celebrate. We still have 10 or 12 days. Hopefully, the district could, yes, get something in on our website prior to that. But yeah, I'd like to bring us back to voting on the amendment and just my thoughts.
Okay, you have the language for the amendment. I would like to amend the amendment to say multicultural.
Just a point of clarity, is that in addition to my motion?
Yeah, that's in.
Can we read back the
Yeah,
entire
sorry.
amended
Just wanna
motion right now?
Make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, I haven't had a second.
I guess I would still need clarity on how.
What do you need clarity on?
Once you make the amendment, then you hear it all together. That would answer my question.
Yes, so my amendment was to just simply change, or to add multicultural events to the calendar instead of it saying cultural events to the calendar.
I'll second that.
And then do you need that read again for you, Mr. Monday?
Yes, I'd like to know exactly what the motion is.
Calendar part, not the motion.
Can I ask you to read it with the mic, please?
She doesn't have a microphone, so.
To amend the action item, what's this on? To review all multicultural events, to create a calendar to make sure all events are inclusive. And you wanted multicultural.
Yeah,
for the
multicultural.
calendar.
My understanding when President Dixon commented was that the multi-word statement would go before the calendar, not at the beginning, because I'm not sure that we want to include all. My whole point has been, I don't know if we're going to do all because there are literally, hundreds. I think we need to be thoughtful about what are we going to recognize and what are we not. So I feel like, and correct me if I'm incorrect, but I believe what you were saying was is to put the multi next to the calendar, not all multi at the beginning.
Okay.
I think that's what President Nixon was saying. Let me know if I'm incorrect.
I believe that was correct. And then also if this motion is approved, I would like Megan to come up and just kind of speak to kind of what all this would entail, if we could do that.
Just to clarify, my motion was to specifically acknowledge Black History Month, February 2026. Is that still the motion in
Yes.
addition? Okay, I'm getting two different answers.
Mine was an amendment to that.
Okay, so instead of, you were trying to change his language?
Entirely, so.
Okay. So clarify that point, and then we need to vote on this because we need to get going. That's correct, and that's why we need to get going.
The reason why I made the original amendment was because I wanted to make sure it's a very slippery slope between recognizing and creating additional division. And I want to make sure that we do this in an inclusive way. That is why I made the amendment.
Okay.
And I will just add, while I appreciate that, I will vote no on the amendment because I think right now we need to recognize Black History Month in 2026. And I don't think that anything else needs a board action. I think we just direct the administration that yes, we would like an inclusive calendar created and they can determine what are the best events and celebrations to recognize. I'm sure that there's guidance out there from other organizations of what most people recognize. But I think for right now, we can focus just on Black History Month and get it done.
And just for the record, there are several surrounding districts. I am sensitive to time, I apologize. There are several districts that surround us that are already proactively doing this, so I'd be interested in hearing too from them what feedback or backlash, whatever potentials they're receiving, so that we can make a solid, respectful approach going forward. I don't believe that should impact our decision wholeheartedly, but that we should align with our community and celebrate Black History Month starting February 2026.
Okay, so we have an amendment to change the original amendment. I need, all those in favor say aye. Oh, go ahead.
Amend the action item to review all culture events to create a multicultural calendar to make sure all events are inclusive.
Fine.
Can we define culture? I mean, is that only, like, and this is what I'm saying, like, I feel like it's a kind of, like you were saying, it's a slippery slope. So what is cultural? Is Gay Pride Month? Like, is that included?
I guess that's why I feel like it's very important to not make this decision in a vacuum, and that we do review and decide what's going to be included and what's not going to be included. That was why I wanted to make that amendment.
And just to reiterate, again, my position here today is to focus on Black History Month. I have tried for hours. I did not rest very well to make this decision, to even bring this before us. I thought to consider everybody that would be listening and a part of this decision. I'm trying to make this as simple and less complicated as possible. If we could please decide whether or not we want to amend the agenda amendment, but please understand the business that I'm asking us to handle and focus on today is for Black History Month.
Okay, we have an amendment on the table. Ms. Smith has read that for us, and so all those in favor say aye.
Can I request a roll call, please?
You may request a roll call. For the amendment, yes.
No.
Yes?
Yes.
Blake Roberson,
Yes.
Randy Ferrante,
No.
Wendy Berry.
No.
Okay, the motion carries. So we are going to be creating a calendar to determine what multicultural events we celebrate on the social media.
And to
President Dixon, I have were we just voting whether or
Oh,
not
you're
to
right.
put this on the agenda?
You are correct. We were voting yes to add this to the agenda as amended. We have voted for the amendment to be added to the agenda. So that is correct. So is there any additional discussion that we need to have?
Jill, was your question answered before I speak?
Yes.
Okay. So just for clarity, I know we've gotten the motion on the agenda, so thank you. Just to be clear, the motion will not direct district administration to post this month, this year. Is that correct? That is correct.
I mean, I don't know how quickly those kinds of things can happen. So I'm saying that if we can, great. If we can't, it is not
Got
a,
it.
it's not a requirement.
Dr. Grant, I know that you were asking for presentation from our PR.
Megan, you want to come up real quick and just kind of talk through our process?
Good morning. Historically, our position has been that we do not recognize any type of culture, any type of group, population, peoples. We just stay in the lane of education and the district. So historically, we have been asked every month of June to recognize Gay Pride Month, and that is one that we do see big organizations, for example, the Chiefs and different groups like that, that do post, and you'll see division. You'll get both sides. And so I think we've always tried to steer clear of just opening that door. So that's kind of the thought process behind why that exists. I will say we do have a calendar. It's extensive. And it does take time to create and build out each of those posts. If we're going to do one, I would say it's fair that we're going to have to do them all. So we need to think about the staffing and the time that we're going to devote to that, and just make sure that we're consistent. And historically, when we have presented the explanation that we just don't post anything, that has, most people who have put the request in say, okay, that makes sense. If we're going to do this, we just want to make sure we're not excluding anyone. So we're happy to do whatever the board decides, and we do have a calendar that exists to be easy to share that, It would also be easy to create a graphic and post in celebration. So there's also, I just want to make sure we're all aware there's a difference between cultural groups and then other populations. So whatever our language is going to be, let's just make sure that we are inclusive and considering the fact that there are 365 days in the year and there is something to celebrate each one of those days and each month. There's a different thing to recognize each month. So if we're going to do that, we just need to keep it ongoing and make sure that we don't fall off.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Megan?
I do want to clarify, and this is just for my own benefit. Can you speak into, are there any curriculum pieces that celebrate cultures in our district?
Yes, there are cultural aspects, and each building does multicultural events and celebrates opportunities there. We do a large Hispanic event throughout the course of the year and different things. So yes, buildings are doing those things.
Okay, so at this point, we need to have a vote for whether we are going to have an expectation that the board create a calendar to celebrate multicultural events. Is that correct? Okay. Is there any more discussion, or are we ready for a vote?
I would like for us to ensure that it is directed and requested and with deference to Megan's time and appreciation and gratitude that we do recognize Black History Month this month. And then moving forward, we recognize with the calendar, create an as inclusive calendar as possible. But I think for this month, hopefully in the next 10 days, we could get a post up and start with Black History Month this year.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Thanks for
Okay. So,
If not,
Director
it's okay.
Mundane
I
has...
withdraw that. No worries. I'll withdraw that.
Okay.
It was-
Okay. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed
Aye.
say nay. We are going to need a roll call. I don't think that we had... Jill, were you raising your hand?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, would you please repeat the motion?
Yes. The motion is that we, and I don't have it written down in front of me, so I'm reiterating this. I think it was that the district create a multicultural calendar to include all, say it again for me.
Review all culture events to create a multicultural calendar to make sure all events are inclusive.
All events are inclusive. What events?
Well, we need to make sure that it's written the way that we're wanting this to be written. Does it say events?
That's what I had read earlier.
No.
Okay.
All post or
I'm having a hard time visualizing it in my
And
head.
this is what I was saying is the challenge. Like, it would have made sense to just direct administration and we only vote on Black History Month right now and direct going forward that we be as inclusive as we can. It's one of the challenges.
I would just say that the reason why I made the amendment was because I don't want to take the chance of doing something quickly and not evaluating the systemic implications. So that's why I made the amendment. I don't know if it needs to be events or posts or instances, but my intent was that before we recognize one particular item, that we do a review and decide what items are going to be recognized. I don't want to not recognize Black History Month. I absolutely do. I just want to make sure that we think about this. Sometimes we can say, I want to do this thing, and we don't think about what all that affects. And I want to make sure that as a board, if we're going to do a direction to the district, that we put careful thought into that and make sure that it is a unifying item and not something that causes division. So that's why I don't know the word that you want to use there, event or issue or post or whatever. My intent is to make sure that there is a review and a decision made so that that way we don't end up disenfranchising any groups. And maybe that's not even possible. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to waste time on impossibles and amending an agenda item on impossible. So obviously it is something that we're concerned about. And I think we have good reason to be concerned about offending someone by saying Happy Black History Month. I think it's clear. Yes, it would be problematic to people. And I get it. But as leaders of this district, we have to look at this district and consider the children in this district, the staff in this district, and where this community is going and growing. This is something that I believe, while it seems small, is a major, major sign of inclusion to all people to come to our community. I think that's what we need right now, and I believe in due process. I do support that. I don't believe that is the most appropriate approach right now to this particular item, but I do believe that we definitely need to have more robust discussions about what we want to celebrate publicly or what we want to post on social media. I'm not asking for people to be upset and outraged. I mean, people are going to do that regardless. It's going to happen. That's how people operate. And we're in public office because we can take that, I believe. So I'm ready to take the brunt of whatever feedback or pushback I get, but you know, I hope that this is something we can make happen this month, this year.
Yeah, I guess my main thing that I'm coming away from this is that the way that this was brought into this meeting like this has created the appearance that there is division, and there isn't. That we don't celebrate you for your leadership because you are a black man.
I don't want to make this personal, so
No,
I would like to
where-
ask that your comments not be made toward me.
Okay.
Because it is not
But-
a fair representation of our relationship. So
But
please
fairly-
do not paint that misleading picture.
So at one point in this meeting, you said that you felt offended that I would not celebrate you, but at
That
the
is
same
not what I
time, well,
said.
I am maybe paraphrasing, I'm doing that
No,
directly.
you're not saying what I said.
What I am saying to you is that I don't feel like you celebrate me
That isn't what
in
you
my
said.
leadership. No,
You
I'm
did not
telling
say
you this
that.
now.
Oh, okay.
I am telling you
So
this
again,
now.
another personal statement.
No,
So
I-
we can have a discussion outside of this.
I feel like it can become a place where we are dividing our community instead of bringing us together.
And this shouldn't be that.
But
This
I
should not
want
be.
to make sure that we have an understanding that the way that the district was presenting was not to exclude anyone, it was to include everyone. All students are celebrated for their education, and we weren't trying to exclude any certain grouping in that. And so that was the message, and that was what we were communicated to when we asked these questions about our social media. And so this coming in, the way that it's coming in, is creating a point of division. Like, you had to do this for us to be able to acknowledge this important time in our celebrations. And so that's where I feel I'm disappointed that that's where we're at right now.
And with all due respect, President Dixon, it did have to happen at a board meeting because the request was made via email and it didn't happen. And then we discussed it and we decided, my understanding was it would be on the March agenda after internal discussions, and we were excited to do that. But yes, this is a special opportunity. And so I understand why Vice President Mondane brought this up now, because it is an opportunity, because the month of February is not over. The March 10th meeting is too late to recognize Black History Month.
we have an opportunity to do it this year.
I did receive a copy of the email that was directed to the district, and it was not a request to do it. It was a question about why. And he did receive the answer of the district's stance of what we celebrate on our social media. He did not request for it to be added when in his correspondence outside of the meeting.
Just a point of clarity, I did make the request after hearing the response of the district's position that 2 items be added to the March agenda. At that point, I made peace with it, and I did not want to call a special meeting. Being that there is a special meeting, I figured, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to share this and get this done this month. Who wouldn't take this opportunity to do that? I hope that I'm not offending anyone or causing division.
Don't put words in our mouth. No one is offended.
I hope.
May I say something? I'm sorry.
Jill probably did not hear me. I will wrap this up in just a moment. My words are, I hope that I am not offending anyone or causing division. That is not my intent. The fact that you may feel, anyone may feel that this is hijacking the agenda or whatever variation of verbs we can throw out there. My intent is to give us an opportunity to demonstrate where we can grow and give people reason to feel included. I respect everyone's opinion and position here, that we could inadvertently offend people. We could inadvertently give people reason to feel less than simply because we celebrated one other than the other. I recognize that. That is why I've been abundantly clear. I'm happy to have those ongoing discussions. I absolutely will entertain those things. However, not at the exclusion or forsaking the opportunity to acknowledge Black History Month, this year. That is all I'm asking.
So this is a very important topic. I think the way that it was brought it was a surprise to me, and I've heard through all my years on the board, no surprises. We appreciate no surprises on the behalf of the superintendent bringing a surprise to all of us or a board member bringing a surprise. This is very important. I would love to see us talk about this in a work session or something where we can give it the importance that it needs. This is not giving it the importance that it needs. And if let's just say we posted something this month, and then we come together to create a calendar and they decide, no, we're not going. I'm just putting it out there. No, we're not going to recognize individual groups. So then next February comes around and we had celebrated it this month, but then we decide not to next year. Again, it's like Megan said, there's a lot that goes into every single decision, and we have to make sure that we don't do it quickly and we don't do it without thinking about our district personnel and all the things. It shouldn't have to be. I agree. I'm sorry that it has become this discussion. But I can't make a quick decision on this very important matter. This is a huge thing for our district.
We have a motion on the table. Does that motion need to be? We have an amended agenda item to add to the agenda. Does that amended agenda item need to be amended for clarification of wording?
Amend the action item to review all culture events to create a multicultural calendar to make sure all events or posts are inclusive.
I worry about all culture and events. That just to me seems very misleading and not intentionally. I just think that we can open up something that my intentions do not represent.
Okay. So could we amend that to just say multicultural calendar and then not say anything else?
So can you read me how you would like the motion to read? Okay. So. To review all culture events to create a multicultural calendar.
It's not what I'm asking, it's your amendment.
Yeah, and I think we've lost sight of what the goal of the original amendment was. I would add for district recognized, or for district recognition, I guess, at the end, for calendar for district recognition.
Okay.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to have to hop off.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we have appropriately done that. Denise, are you willing to make that amendment to the amendment?
I think it's not really an amendment, I think it's just kind of wording, and I'm
Okay,
fine,
so
I'm fine
we're-
with Wendy's wording.
Okay, so Wendy, everyone is good with the way that the amendment is, and it's the way, what we are approving, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not what we had, the original, this is a whole different topic than what we had originally discussed. But yes, if we could read it again.
Okay. One more time, read it for me so that we can vote.
District administration to review all cultural events to create a multicultural calendar for district recognition.
Okay. All those,
Are we not including website and social media? Is that important? So,
okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
nay.
Okay, so and then Blake, I'm sorry.
Do we need a-
I can't hear you. What did you ask me?
Blake, we had a vote, and I think we are at, without understanding what your vote was, we are at a,
I said yay.
okay. So yes, we have the motion carries. Okay, so we are moving away from that, and we are moving on to new business. Okay. The first item is the approval of the Independent School District Board of Education resolution to support the proposed Nebulous AI Data Center project. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept this resolution in support of the project.
It was
Second.
second.
Okay, any discussion? Dr. Grant, sorry.
All right, thank you. I do want to just say thank you for considering this motion and adopting this resolution. This opportunity in the development of the AI data center represents commercial development at a scale unprecedented in our community and will have a lasting long-term impact. Based on the documents provided to the district over the 20-year life of the proposed abatement, the Independent School District is projected to receive approximately $463,454,754 in payment in lieu of taxes. That level of projected revenue represents a significant and transformative financial benefit to our district. In Missouri, school funding is closely tied to assessed property values. Development of this magnitude has the potential to significantly strengthen our local revenue base. The projected revenue could provide long-term stability for both our operating fund and our debt service fund, helping ensure we can meet the current and future obligations while maintaining high-quality educational services for students. Importantly, the growth in the commercial tax base reduces resilience on the residential property taxes. As commercial valuation increases, increases, the burden on homeowners can decrease. This project has the potential to lower levies for our patrons while keeping our schools strong. So, thank you for your consideration of this resolution.
Okay, discussion?
I had a comment I wanted to make. I've received multiple emails in the last few days, and I've responded to many. This is a complex issue. I had opportunity to attend the first reading for the Chapter 100 approval for Nebius on Monday night. Just a reminder, Chapter 100 tax abatement takes a commercial property, and for a specified time, the ownership is transferred to the city, thus affording the project tax-exempt status. In return for this, the project will make payments in lieu of taxes, typically at a reduced rate, to the taxing jurisdictions. This is the source of the revenue that was noted in the resolution. There will also be funds that will go to other taxing jurisdictions, such as the city, Fort Osage School District, libraries, etc. I was encouraged by the swell of community engagement on this, both for and against it. On Monday, those speaking for the project included organized labor, education, and economic development. Some of those speaking against mentioned environmental concerns, trust issues with the company, and timing of approvals. I was particularly moved by comments from Doug Cowan, who in a nutshell said, "We don't have to say no to concerns to say yes to opportunity. Both can occur." There are valid concerns about the noise, air, chemicals, and the closed loop system, light, etc. According to Nebius, all of these are being studied. However, citizens are right to be concerned as to how to make sure these are all completely addressed. I believe it was stated multiple times that this business will be subject to federal, state, and local environmental laws, as would any business. I will be continuing to monitor what the oversight process will be to make sure that this occurs. I am sure I'm not the only one that will be continuing to monitor that process and what is developed. This project was publicly announced when Nebius purchased the property in early December. Since then, there has been an informational event, a council study session, and numerous Facebook posts, as well as the Chapter 100 first reading on Monday. Another speaker noted that the land itself was zoned in 2022 for industrial use, so this concept has been around for some time, though the arrival of bulldozers has likely made it much more visible in the last few weeks. My understanding is that this heavy equipment is from North Point, not Nebius, but the impact is the same. There is something going on. I like to run on the Little Blue Trace, and last Saturday I paid particular attention to the sight line from the trail close to the Fisher access, which is the nearest to the proposed development site. I was pleased that the trail has some cover and that the site plans also indicate trees and water portions, which will also help aesthetics. We can see in this resolution that the monetary benefit to the community, especially our district in particular, is significant. For me, the big question is the bang worth the buck? In my opinion, if the concerns continue to be explored and addressed, and there is oversight in place, then for me that answer is yes. So I will be voting in favor of this resolution.
I would like to make a few comments too. As a longtime advocate for public education here in Independence and as a director on this board, I also strongly support the proposed Nebius Data Center and what it would mean for our schools. I've listened closely to the concerns, particularly the environmental concerns, and I appreciate folks supporting our environment. While natural gas turbines have been part of the Independence Power and Light portfolio for decades, I am hopeful this level of investment will give our local utility the capacity to modernize and invest more strategically. Is it perfect? No. But is it good? Yes. The $463 million represents approximately 10% of our total district revenue each year when divided by those 20 years. And I think it's so important to our schools and to public education in general to have sustainable funding that we can count on, and that's not subject to the whims of our legislature. I have been, while I appreciate what everybody has shared with us, and we have gotten lots of emails about this project,
I am comfortable with the responses from our city and from Nebius itself. And I urge folks who are still concerned to continue bringing up those concerns. Let's talk about it. Let's make more sustainable choices in all of the ways and build a better community for our kids. But I think that this is an opportunity that we cannot say no to, and I look forward to seeing what happens with the city. I do want to make it clear too that this is just a resolution in support. The ISD has no power here. We are merely saying that yes, we recognize the value that it will bring to our schools, and I am very excited about that opportunity. Thank you.
I'll speak to this. I share the excitement, of course, whenever there's an opportunity to secure the future of education here in our city. I mean, I'm here to do that. That is what we are serving to do, is to make sure education is a priority in our community, quality education, and this definitely gives us a green light to do so. Now, I'm not minimizing anyone's concerns, because there are valid concerns, absolutely. But I think with that, what we want to leverage now is the importance of getting people in the seats that make these decisions for us. I want to encourage us to really make sure we're talking to those council members. They're doing their research. I have talked to them myself. And yesterday, I felt differently than I feel today, both physically and mentally with all of this going on. I took a little cold. But anyway, after my discussions that I had, I do feel much better about my decision in supporting this today. I want to be clear, this is not just a go-ahead, Nebius, do as you please. No, we are still in a position to where the council, the city, will still be able to give direction and guidance and improvement. It's not just, oh my gosh, we're signing over our rights to this big, terrible project potentially. With all the facts and details they've shared with us, I'm at peace, and I look forward to seeing those same courageous voices that have emailed me. Thank you for your time and your emails, but to continue to stay at the front line of this and continue to make sure that we are honest in our work and in our deeds, and making sure that these promises are kept that they've made. So I too will be supporting this. Now, I will be honest with my peers here. I'm not thrilled that we are doing this, because I kind of feel like we're almost asking for all of this influx of emails. I would have rather not had to do this, but this is what we're elected to do. Okay, this is the work of children. It impacts our school district, so I'm happy to be aligned with my peers and this district to support this resolution.
Yeah, I would like to make a statement too. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. In looking at this and the emails that we've received, I know many people have concerns about artificial intelligence, but that's here to stay, and it's been here for a while. And if this data center wasn't built in Independence, it'll be built someplace else. And the fact is, we have an opportunity now to not only assist our children in the future with additional funds that we can do more to help K through 12, but also to help our patrons from a tax standpoint. And if the council has procedures in place to guide and control the outcome month by month and year by year, then I think it's going to be a great opportunity for this area and for the Independence School District. So I fully support voting for this resolution.
And yes, very quickly, I would like to say something too. I agree with my colleagues here on the board. This area has been zoned like this for many years, and it has just taken us a while to get this opportunity. So I sat in on an MSBA Lunch and Learn seminar, and the state of public education funding is bleak. It's very bleak in our state and in our Jackson County. So this will be sort of it will be more of a guarantee that we can continue the great education we have for kids into the future. So I'll be supporting it also.
Yeah, I would just have a reminder that public schools only have so many ways that they can have funding for the valuable work that they do. And we are in crisis in our community, at our state level, and our federal level. And so this commercial property, bringing in revenue for us as a district is crucial for us to sustain the level of education that we have now. I'm happy to support this resolution for that. Okay, I think we're ready to vote. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
And then, do we need a roll call for that? Okay.
Mary Dixon,
Yes.
Anthony J. Moniz,
Yes.
Denise Spears,
Yes.
Jill Azari,
Yes.
Blake Robertson,
Yes.
Wendy Baird.
Yes.
We are adjourned.